Okay. Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another brothers and sisters to another class here at the university, where everyone will earn a PhD in racism, white supremacy. The system, that is, the system of racism, white supremacy. And what we're going to engage in today is absolute learning, as we always do. And the topic is white genetic survival, white genetic survival, and black self-hate, which is absolutely essential. Black self-hate part is absolutely essential in the system of racism, white supremacy. So, well, let me say this first before we get started. The great producer, Daryl Jackson Jr., indicated to me we're doing a great job, we as the members of the university, and you know who you are, but we're not going to hold you like last week. It was an hour. We're not going to go an hour because we know most of our attention spans may not be that long, and we don't want to burden the people either, because we know that you have other things that you have to engage in. So, but we're going to get right. We're going to get right to it. We're going to get started. So our textbooks are will be as usual, Dr. Francis Cresswellsing, Mr. Millie Fuller, and Imam W.D. Muhammad. All of these people have done great work. Two of them have gone from labor to reward. That is Dr. Francis Cresswellsing and Imam W.D. Muhammad. Mr. Millie Fuller is still here with us, as I know of it. And like I say, all three have done yeoman's work in pushing Black people minds forward, not backwards, and in saving a lot of lives in this system. So, like we always say, our definition mostly, we studied the definition of Mr. Millie Fuller and Dr. Francis Cresswellsing, and we develop our own, we being a university. We develop our own definition, and we're going to give it to you, and in that definition it will tell you exactly what racism is and how it works, how high it works. And I'm looking at that lady out of the window doing some real weird stuff. Anyway, exactly what it is and how it works. And we're going to give you steps towards freedom, the solutions. And then shortly after that, we'll get into the topic itself. But we never actually leave the topic. So get your pen and paper, and we're going to get right to it. I must remind you to, for those of you who haven't, please subscribe and hit the like and share button. If you already subscribed, but you can continue to hit the share button every time we come on, and like button, so we can get the word out there more and more efficiently. So this is what racism, white supremacy is. I know most of us African American, Black people over the globe, not just here, but across the whole globe. Somewhere in the 99.9 and 9/10 percentile, could not tell you what racism and white supremacy is, and couldn't tell you how it works. Well, here's what it is. This is the definition as given by the university, and the university took it from Mr. Millie Fuller and Dr. Francis Cresswellsing. Racism, white supremacy is a worldwide system for the genetic survival of those people that are classified as white. It has patterns of control in thought, logic, speech, system formation, and emotional response. It operates in 10 areas of human activity: education, entertainment, economics, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health, for the ultimate goal of the disruption of the genetic material of those people that are classified as non-white, period. That is the definition. And you notice I say those people that are classified as non-white. That's everybody else on the globe. If you're not white, you're non-white. So here are some steps towards freedom. You already know them. Your parents taught you. You already know them. We're just re-emphasizing them. And most of them come from the work, the yeoman's work of Mr. Neely Fuller. This man is not known to most of us. But if we say, who was Albert Einstein? Most of us will readily say who was Albert Einstein in a heartbeat. Even if we just say he was a mathematician or he has something to do with math. Mr. Neely Fuller work is just as important as Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein came up with the theory of I think it's E equals MC squared. Look it up. But you already know. But Mr. Neely Fuller's work is just as important as that, if not more. If not more. But here are some steps towards freedom. Mr. Neely Fuller says there are countermeasures to the system of racism, white supremacy. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing added on to those countermeasures, and she said there were exercises in Black mental health. Imam W.D. Muhammad would say it's just good rational sense, just good common sense that Allah created long time ago. That would be his language. And we take the best of that. This would also be his language. And we would take the best of that and apply it to our life. So we got 3 excellent textbooks, and here's the steps towards freedom. The 3 textbooks will be, again, Mr. Neely Fuller, and you should go and research these people. Read them. They are textbooks. Mr. Neely Fuller, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, and Imam W.D. Muhammad. So here are the steps towards freedom. Stop fighting each other. Stop lying on each other. Stop stealing from one another. Stop arguing with one another. Stop snitching on one another. Now, we must stop here because we know most people don't know what snitching is, have no idea. Under the system of racism, white supremacy, snitching is this. This is the definition. Turning someone in to authorities for your own political or economic gain. Turning someone in to authorities. Authorities can be from the FBI all the way down to your local civics club leader, block captain. Turning someone in to authorities for your own economic and political gain. That's snitching. For example, if Junior is holding a rally and I say, well, Junior's charging to go into this rally for black people because another black person was shot. And here Junior is charging people to go in the rally, the protest. And I report Junior to the community board. This is a community board made up of people that's living in the community. And they bring Junior in and charge him up and speak to him for hours. I'm the one that turned Junior in. And I turn right back around and hold a rally and charge money to get in the rally. Turning someone in for your own economic and or political gain. You're going to turn them in, then you're going to do the same thing. That's snitching. And that actually happened. I changed the name up because I got tired of saying the same thing over. But it actually happened. I know firsthand. That actually happened. And some of the main people that turned that brother in are doing the same thing they accused him of. And they are riding high with political officials. Almost every black political official know their name. And they were one of the loudest voices condemning this other brother. And then they turned around and did the same thing. Snitching. Stop using and selling drugs because we are in a state of war. And you're not going to know which way to go if you high. And if you're selling drugs, you're selling out people poison. That includes cigarettes and alcohol. We don't need to be doing any of that. Any form of tobacco, any other form of drugs, because you know they put addictive properties in tobacco. Yeah. Did you know tobacco will slow down the blood flow? And you know what happens when your blood flow gets slowed down? They'll start cutting off members of your body, your fingers, your toes. Is it really worth it putting a cigar in your mouth? Walking around with a cigar hanging out of your mouth? Is it really worth it drinking alcohol? And eventually you have kidney, liver damage. Now you want the family to pray for you. Now you want people to go get tested and see, can you borrow one of their kidneys? I say borrow one of their kidneys because you damage yours with alcohol. And all of these devices that I just named, cigarettes, cigars, any form of tobacco, alcohol, any other form of drugs, weed, cocaine, pills, they're all tricks. And they're sanctioned by the government. When you go to the liquor store and buy that liquor, it has a government seal on it. And you open it, it has a government seal on it. And then on the bottle, it also says it may cause cancer. The same thing with a cigarette. It has a government seal on it. And it also says it will cause cancer, sure death. And here you go sticking it in your mouth. Stop smoking and using drugs. Stop making, see, all of this is basic. These are things our parents taught us. Stop making young Black people think that they can create and maintain a family, because they cannot. Not under this system. Not under this system of racism, white supremacy. They cannot. We should not be getting married until the female is 30 and the male is 35. And the reason being, because we will not be mature enough. No, we will not be mature enough mentally or economically if we start creating babies and not married. I mean, and a lot of times we don't be married anyway. So we start creating babies. Now you got a baby. You 20. You 19. You think that make you a man because you didn't tuck your phallus and and ejaculated. Now baby is coming. You think that means man. But when it's time to take care of that baby with a job at Whataburgers, you're not going to be able to do it. So when it's time to take care of that baby emotional needs, you still trying to find your emotional needs at 20. Because most of the time they have not been met. So you give that baby off to your mama because you want to go to the club tonight. Next week it's going to be at your auntie's house. The week after that is going to be at your grandma's house. Then it's going to be at one of the cousins' house. When you continue to pass that baby around like that, it's going to make that baby nervous and upset because their emotional needs are not getting met. There's no stability. And you are going to drive that baby insane. So the baby may come up and do the same thing, if not worse. I wonder why that baby's boy always been angry. That boy always been crying ever since we had him. She brought him over here, he crying. Now you 18, 19, now you're a drug addict. And we don't trace that all the way back because his emotional needs was not met when he was a baby. The mama and daddy had to go play. See, we have to look in depth about racism, white supremacy. Somebody say, what that got to do with racism? Because sex is being bombarded on you 24/7. 24/7. And at the same time, it's telling you to do your own thing. See, Caucasian people, white people, they can hire a nanny. They used to be black. Now they are probably Hispanic. And that nanny or maid or whatever you want to call them would stay with that child. See, white people, children, they do the same thing. And then the children will go out party and that nanny will be there. And that baby may come up with some abnormalities. But then his granddaddy that owned them buildings downtown, they got enough money to make that go away. My granddaddy did not have that money. So I had to put myself in check. I couldn't be running around here creating babies without the benefit of marriage. Now, when it is time to get married, make sure she's 30. She don't need to be 25 because she don't have nothing. And you should be 35. That will almost ensure that you have your career underway. You have been to school. This is what you're going to be doing while you're trying to reach 30 without being killed, or 35 without being slaughtered. I'm gonna pick up the pace a little bit. I see the time running. You're going to be going to school. And if you qualify mentally, academically, to get a PhD or a medical doctor, then that's what you're going to do. If you qualify to be a master mechanic, see, we put all good qualifications. We say, oh, that boy going to the university. You got to qualify to be a master mechanic. That take a brain too. Or a master plumber. That take a brain. I had an uncle, Kirby Tanner. I don't believe, as the story goes, it was difficult for him in terms of academics. But my uncle could take apart a car and put it back together and make it run like it was brand new. See, we want you to either go to the university or get you a trade and become a master at it like Kirby Tanner was. He was a master automobile man. That's what we want you to do. We're not going to celebrate you creating I'm talking about Black people. I'm not talking about my own self, but I am including my own personal family. We're not going to celebrate you creating a baby at 18. Although we as Black people shouldn't throw the baby away. But we should be putting so much pressure on youngsters. Hey, man, don't have no baby. Hey, sister, don't be having no baby at 18. Keep your legs closed. These are steps towards freedom. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in a vice. And it's going to wring your neck so and choke you to death. Because you can't take care of no baby, little brother walking around with a backpack on and catching a bus. And a cigarette hanging out of your mouth because you 18, you think you grown. You can't take care of no baby like that and working at McDonald's. If you in school, stay your butt in school. If you're not in school, then go to school. This is steps towards freedom. In other words, steps to fight racism, white supremacy. Here's some more steps. I think I said stop killing each other. We're killing each other on these streets, man, like it ain't no tomorrow. Like it ain't no tomorrow. Stop killing one another. Lastly, stop saying that racism, white supremacy does not exist. Because it does exist. And every time you say it does not exist, you give the system more and more power. Because the denial of the system is essential to the maintenance of that system. The denial of the system of racism, white supremacy is essential to the maintenance of that system. And quickly, we're going to make some remarks on the topic. See, all of it's related. Everything I say, you can track it right back to the beginning of when I started about racism, white supremacy. White genetics. I said in a definition, racism, white supremacy is a worldwide system for the genetic survival. The topic we have today is white genetic survival and Black self-hate. So, We have to look at racism, white supremacy, and say, what in the world is really going on here? Why are black people being hunted in the street and shot with shotguns at point blank range? That means real close, real close. Such as Ahmaud Arbery, brother Ahmaud Arbery. He is the latest poster person. By 2 months from now, we're going to forget about, well, less than that. And it's going to be somebody else's name. But nevertheless, we got to find out what is really going on. Why are we being hunted and murdered as if they were hunting jackrabbits, running them down and killing us? I maintain that it is because they are trying to survive genetically. What do you mean by that? My genetics, or our genetics, determine, this is people, animals too, but in terms of people, we're talking about people. It determines my skin tone. Yes. And the darker you are, the more dominant your skin tone is, the more dominant your genetics is. The darker you are, the more dominant your genetics are. The lighter you are, the more recessive your genetics is. The dominant can produce the recessive. This is not difficult language. You understand exactly what I'm saying. Black people, no matter how dark they are, they can produce two black people. They can produce a white person. Why you say that? What do you mean by that? I have an auntie in Sweetport. And on top of the hill, they lived in Stony Hill. I really enjoyed going there. But anyway, on top of the hill for years, I used to see this young brother. I think I'm older than him. We may be the same age. They stayed on top of the hill in a house. And I used to look up that hill from my auntie's backyard when I'd be in the back with my cousins. And it was a albino. Albino means void of color, white. He stayed at the top of the hill. His parents, more than likely, was black. See, black people can produce white people. And they don't necessarily have to be that white. Albino is the whitest you can get. He's void of color. That's what white means. Now, white people have recessive genes. Recessive genes. We talking about white genetic survival. White people have recessive genes. They cannot produce a dominant gene. Two white people cannot have sexual relations and produce me or you. Does that make them bad? No, that don't make them bad. It makes this happen. White people circumnavigated the globe in the 15th century. To be exact, 1492. They first started circumnavigating the globe. That is, they went all over the world. And they found out, now this is fact. They found out that 9/10 of the world was populated by Black people or non-white people or different shades of Black people. Because remember, Black people can create any shade, not on demand, but their genes are dominant. That's the way, that ain't me talking, that's genetics talking. Just get a book on genetics. And then if you want to take it farther than that, that ain't that author of that book talking, that's God talking. Because that author didn't create human beings. God created human beings and animals. The same thing applies. There's no white dog. That dog is a mutation of Black. Yeah, it's no white dog. He's a mutation of Black. So I left off by saying white people cannot produce me because of their genes. And that don't make them bad. See, one thing we want to get over on this program, we are not saying hate white people. We're not saying that at all. That is a colossal waste of time. Race don't even matter. The only time it matters if you live in a system of racism, white supremacy, and that's exactly the system you live in. But don't hate white people. Now, they are doing this. This means the system and everything that goes along with the system for their genetic survival. They know by circumnavigating the globe, they knew it in 1492 when they left Europe, because that's where white people were, on that continent. They knew every other continent they went to, they found Black people or shades of Black people. And the men knew, because that was who was aboard those ships, when they embarked off those ships and made friends with the people, if you want to say that, and had sexual relations with those women and stayed around 9 months later. Follow what I'm saying? And stayed around 9 months later. They knew that they could disappear. White people just don't want to disappear. They just don't want to disappear genetically. They won't disappear in terms of a human. They'll still be here. But they have set up a program for themselves that they benefit from by being void of color. So the code, I think my Annie is on here, and she's probably the oldest one on here. Thank you for supporting Aunt Janet. She's very lovely. She heard this code before. If you Black, get back. If you brown, stick around. If you yellow, you mellow. If you white, you're all right. That is the genetic code. But they gave it to us in terms of a song, and we didn't take it that seriously. But that is the genetic code. So white people don't want to disappear. And they know just by having sexual relations with black people, they can disappear. This is an example. We got one example on that on Facebook looking at me right now. Looking at me, he's a black man. Looking at me right now. His mother was white, I believe that he told me that. And his daddy is black. Well, white people, well, let me give you another example. Anyway, look at the President Barack Obama. His mother was white. His daddy was black. Daddy had high melanin. We're gonna tell you what melanin is. We're gonna move pretty quick. His daddy was black. His mother and father are both deceased. They made it. They had sexual relations. They were married. They produced President Barack Obama. Now look at the President Barack Obama. Where is his mother? In him. Now we know she's in him. We know that. Where is she physically? She has disappeared. White people know that could happen consciously or unconsciously. They know it. And once they knew it, and they know it to this day, the same thing, the same story I just gave you, they witnessed that in 1492, over 500 years ago. And they put a plan into motion, that genetic code that I just gave you. They didn't call it racism, white supremacy, because they didn't have that language. But that same concept is existing right here today. The same concept. So if you remember in Virginia, somehow thousands of white people were able to walk or march down I think that was at the University of Virginia with tiki torches. And they are saying Jews. It was a play on you. Jews. It was a play on you will not replace us. Go back and look at the tape. They were saying the same thing I just told you. They don't want to disappear. You will not replace us. But they said Jews because they don't see Jewish people as being white. At some point in this country, they didn't see Italians being white either. Because in the southern part of Italian, they're dark, like us. Because Hannibal went over there. You follow me? So, and they did the same thing in Germany in the 40s. They didn't want to disappear. And they knew that white people genes was recessive. And they being the Third Reich, the government, felt like, they believed that Jewish people, Semitic Jewish people, Semitic means mix, was a mixture between Roman soldiers and African women. And they knew that the Jewish people then and now, along with you, have the ability, the genetic ability to make them disappear because of the melanin that's in your skin, because of the genetics that's in your skin and body. Now, this is what most black people don't know. White people have the cells to make genetics. It's called tyrosinase. It will cause the pigmentation melanin to increase in your skin. They have that. It just don't work for some reason or another. Nobody knows why. It's the same way with white dogs. Not saying that they are dogs. I'm just white tigers, white monkeys. They are mutation. Those white tigers are mutation of the darker tigers. That's all you see. When you see them Dalmatians with those black spots and white background, I believe it's a mutation. So when you see white people or people that classify themselves as white practicing this system, because you have to have an analysis of what we're talking about. It must be an analysis. We just can't say, oh, that's racism. We got to know what racism is and exactly how it works. Now you know and how it works in the areas of genetics. You know why white people created the system of race, those people that are classified as white. And I ain't telling you all of them bad, hate white people. You said, oh, white people. They wouldn't leave that to the ignorant masses. They're scientists. That's why they created, their scientists created the system. And the system operates in 10 areas of human activity. And it covers, those 10 areas cover everything. You know what they are. Go back and listen. You know exactly what they are. Now, here's our position. This is the self-hate. Now, we talked about genetics. We're going to go quickly with the black self-hate because the topic is white genetic survival. We showed you why that kicked in. This is the self-hate, black self-hate. Because without black self-hate, racism, white supremacy could not exist. We are the only group, I'm talking particularly here in America, we are the only group of non-white people or people in the world that entertain themselves, but, excuse my language, by calling ourselves niggas, thugs, hoes, bitches, MFs. We are the only group, and we'll put it in a song, and we'll put it on a movie. We are the only group that dance to songs calling women bitches. And the women, our women, will turn up the music. I seen college educated women do it in front of old people. Yes. That is black self-hate. That is life not worthy of life. That's how the system will view it. So then we are walking down the street. Now all of this happens. We produce music because we want money, calling each other niggas, hoes, bitches, MFs, and I'ma shoot one. I'ma drop my 9mm on him. So the system will say, hey, that's life unworthy of life. Look at the music they're listening to. Look how they attack their women. And then here's the black man walking down the street from getting Skittles in a soft drink. And the next thing you know, he got a bullet in his chest. Because who can't kill a nigga? Who can't kill a bitch? Who can't kill a hoe? Who can't kill an MF? Because that is the picture that has been painted of us. Who can't deny a nigga a job? A MF a job. These are words we call ourselves. But we call ourselves that because of the system of racism, white supremacy taught us to do that. And since we do no study about the system, because we don't know that the systems have patterns of control in speech and language, we think it's just some P. Diddy or whatever their name is, 50 Cent, whoever came up with that phrase. The guy who married to Beyonce, I seen one video about 2 or 3 years ago saying nigglets, nigga, nigglets, nigga. All of those words are demeaning. And this guy's a billionaire. The system will pay black entertainers huge amount of money to keep black people confused. Junior is right. Like Lester, self-hatred is real. And the system will pay huge amount of money to keep black people confused to the point where we say, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why they shooting us like that. And I just went and downloaded some music, calling my mama, my sisters, my aunties, my cousins, a whole bunch of B words. My male cousin, a whole bunch of thugs, players and hustlers. All that means life unworthy of life. That's what that, see, the system looks at that and say, we think like on what's that? And I looked at every series because I wanted to study it. What's that? Not Power 2, Power, yeah, Power, that's series called Power. But that other one that's Empire, Empire 2, and Scandal. All three of those. And How to Get Away with Murder. If you are looking at that or have looked at that and did not understand the system of racism, white supremacy, know that you are being brainwashed. Let's take Empire. They deal with more economics or portrayed like they did. Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing posed a question. Who on Empire would you hire to lead your company? They had a $1 billion company, black people all over the music industry, Empire. Then they went to hotels and thank you, Junior, restaurants, all in. Who on the series of Empire, those characters, which one of those characters would you hire to lead your major company? Which one? None of them. Lucius was a murderer. Cookie was institutionalized. The oldest son was a schizophrenic. The second oldest boy, he didn't know if he wanted to be a woman or a man. He didn't know which one he was. And the youngest boy was spoiled and got trapped in his sexual organ. He became a penis. Which one of those characters would you hire? Not a one. So while we were being entertained by that, the system of racism, white supremacy was saying, Planet of the Apes. The same thing with Scandal. No, she was in the White House. So was Sally Hemings. If you don't know, Sally Hemings was raped repeatedly by Thomas Jefferson, one of the presidents of the United States. But he kept her and the children that he fathered in slavery. the same way with power. In the end, the boy kills the daddy. That's to separate a male child from his father. That's what they were saying. And the mama was all right with it. That actually happens in our community. The mother attacks the father and teaches the boy to attack the father. Now the father and the boy don't get along, and their relationship is murdered. Oh God, please have mercy on us and have mercy on our parents because they have done the best they can do. Please give us good in this world and in the hereafter and save us from the torment of the fire. Amen. Okay, please, brothers and sisters, hey, I didn't stay too long. Anyway, look forward to talking to you. We'll have another class at the university. Please, next week, please hit the share button, subscribe button on YouTube. Please go to that because we need that so we can get the word out there more. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, share button. Please do that on YouTube particularly, and then do that on Facebook. Look forward to hearing from all of you in the comments section and look forward to seeing you. I hope you are doing well, Ain't Chatty. Love you very much and love all of you who are supporting us. Thank you. Keep up the good work, brothers and sisters. We'll see you soon.